What's up, everybody? You know, I was listening to the Tower of Power the other day, hosted by that piece of crap, Prophet of Thought. And he had some jigaboo on there named Ramil, spewing white supremacist nonsense about black people being 13% of the population and committing almost all the crimes. I am so sick of these jigaboos being an echo chamber for white supremacy. We're about to blow that myth out the water today. Gangster talk, up right now.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9 fest, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. Shoot the game on for mine. Alright. And this is the year when mad cats get real. So I'ma spark this live, kick the rear. Bang them out. Middle all this chaos in the realms of the street. Your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe farts and slow for his ghetto pro. You better know when I hit the streets, I like to blow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfucking thing. Why I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke smoking, bigs copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that used to live in riches, now a state kid. Caught up in the ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas put the city alive. Peeling caps while I laugh. And the stats, the foe in the half. Remy in the glass, off the boom, and I blast. Wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me. Bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't want to see it. They never see it spray. But I'm like this, a terminator, squeeze the lead off. Burns and downs like rounds to blow your head off. Hitting up spots, heating up blocks. Investing stocks like Colombian blood crops. I'm out to get clean, and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit I'm hit, I get down for mine. I ain't some place you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. When this is the 08, then I spray the melee. Contact and situation is compared to AK. You in a game, overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking on like Tommy again. For calm as a bull smoke. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What they talk about for years? Come on, you nigga blagging. I'm blasting off wings and making downers believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all have forgotten who is the best from the start. Sipping vintage wine and eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical lyrics are sticking the brains like Bartle. Never sleep. I'm bringing the drama to the street with techniques and rolling in flicks. Ain't nothing sweet about the street, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish kill. I got the banger at you broke and you ain't showing no signs. Can't let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine. I get down for
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this morning podcast of Gangster Talk. I am the Black Knight. Thanks everybody for showing up. As I said in my opening, I was listening to the Tower of Power the other day, hosted by that piece of shit, Prophet of Thought. And he had a couple of jigaboos on there, mainly King Jigaboo himself, Mr. Ramil, spewing white supremacist nonsense about black people being the 13% of the population and committing all of the goddamn crimes in the world. I've had enough of this. We're about to blow this shit apart today. I got some people I want you to listen to before I really get in and start tearing these guys a new asshole. Okay? So I'm going to need you guys to put your ears on and listen. I don't have my engineer with me today. So I'm doing this, doing all the engineering myself. Dame is, she's working today. She's my engineer. So I'm doing everything myself, so bear with me. I can't share any screens, but I can play audio. So I need you guys to really pay attention to what's being said as we kick this off. We're gonna tear this myth up. And it is a myth. We're going to prove that it's a myth. And I'm just so sick and tired of these damn sellouts, these jigaboos running around here performing for butter biscuits. So the first person we're going to listen to kick this off is just a regular old white guy. And the reason why I'm going to put this white guy on today, he only said a few words, right? But the words were extremely powerful. I want you to think about what he's saying as I build this narrative to blow up this myth. So without further ado, here's the first white guy I want you to listen to. Pay attention.
All right, future humans, just a little note in the autobiography for the future. Yeah. So I've heard this statistic quite a few times recently about 13% of the population commits 53% of the crime. And just a quick story about a recent event that occurred.
Fair use.
Tried to get the police to arrest me on Friday. And they said, we can't just arrest you. And I said, hold on a second. I am a criminal.
Now, notice what he just said. Like I said, I want you to really listen to what he's saying. He said he tried to get the police to arrest him.
I have some marijuana in my garage, and I can point it out to you. And these gentlemen would not arrest me.
Okay. He said that he tried to get the police to arrest him, told the police that he had marijuana in his garage, and they wouldn't arrest him. The marijuana was illegal, and they wouldn't arrest him.
And they ended up agreeing to arrest me. So I let them put the handcuffs on me, and I was sitting in the squad car in front seat for a good while some other officers talked, and they came to a conclusion about what had to be done. And the gentleman that was driving the car I was in got back into the vehicle. We started driving, and he said, we're going to Mercy Hospital. And I said, wait a second. This isn't the first time we've met. You've been to my house. You told me man to man you were going to book me. And I don't blame this gentleman. I'm not mad at this gentleman, because I saw that he was torn and he wanted to do what he agreed to do. But police protocol and police policy held his hands, and they weren't able to do that. And instead, I went to the mental institute. Yeah.
Okay, that's enough. That's all I wanted you guys to hear. Here is a white criminal who told the police he was a criminal, asked to be arrested. They wouldn't arrest him. Then they finally arrested him after he convinced them that he was a criminal. And they still didn't even take him to jail. They took him to a hospital, a mental institution. They took him to a hospital, a mental institution, not jail. Now, the reason why I'm starting off with this, right? Because I want to show you how biased and one-sided the criminal justice system is against Black people. Now, the next one I'm going to move on to is a white guy that's a little bit more convincing and a little bit more detailed. He goes by the name of White Mike. He was on TED Talks. What he had to say was extremely powerful about Black people. Again, I don't have my engineer with me today. I can't share my screen. I can just play the audio. I want you to pay attention to what's being said. It's extremely important because we're going to light this myth on fire today. Here goes White Mike from TED Talks.
This is me. 24 years ago this month, I'm 17 years old, a senior in high school, living in Orlando, Florida. And 2 weeks after this picture was taken, my life went on a tremendous and continues to be on a tremendous journey. 2 weeks after this picture was taken, I dropped out of my private school in the middle of my senior year, moved to a city outside of Atlanta called College Park, Georgia, and enrolled in ministry school. And it was that time that I got a new nickname, and that nickname is White Mike. Now, how I got the nickname White Mike is pretty simple. I arrived at a church that had about 1,000 people. And when people would ask, have you seen Mike? And somebody said, Mike who? Nobody knew my last name. Smith was too hard. So White Mike is who I became. So this is White Mike on the day he graduated from ministry school. This is White Mike teaching in the youth ministry. This is White Mike doing an example on the stage with his pastor. This is White Mike being ordained into ministry. I think you're seeing a pattern.
Now, the reason why he was called White Mike, because he went to a ministry school in College Park, Georgia, that was heavily populated with Black people. That's why he was singled out and given the nickname White Mike.
This is White Mike's first roommate when he got there. White Mike at work, White Mike at social gatherings. You can barely see White Mike in there. White Mike with pastors. I just returned from Atlanta Pastors Conference. This picture is about 15 years old, and it's the same picture from when I was here yesterday. This is White Mike's wedding party with White Mike.
Right now, he's just showing a bunch of pictures of him with Black people in the ministry school.
The past 24 years. Now, in this time, I learned
I don't want to fast forward because I don't want you to miss what this man is saying. What he's saying is extremely powerful.
And I learned a lot of dark things about the nation in which we live. But I also learned that I, being White Mike, specifically the white part, have a lot of power. White Mike has a question today, and that's this. How come when you turn on the radio in Jacksonville, or New Orleans, or Chicago, or Little Rock, the only people on the radio that talk about how great it is to kill each other are Black?
Now, let me stop you right now. I'm going to stop it right there. All of the cities that he mentioned are heavily populated with Black people. Now, when he opens this up, the first thing you might think when he says, why are the only people on the radio that are celebrating killing other Black people are Black people? It sounds like a racist opening, right? But keep listening.
come that exist. 15 stations on a dial, go up, go down. The only people on the radio bragging about getting automatic weapons, gunning each other down, are black. This right here is a song. My pastoral vocabulary won't let me read the title. But I will read this. Catch a young black male not paying attention at the red light. With your AK-47, let me see you shoot it. You're a killer, you're a killer, you're a killer, you're a killer black male. Let me see you prove it. Why does this exist? I'll take it even further because a lot of time racism exists in what we don't know, what we don't see. Where are the white killers on the radio? Where are the white AK?
Well, Mr. White Mike, the rest of us would like to know that too. Where are all the white killers on the radio? Where are the white killers? Let me continue.
47 shooters. Where are the white drug dealers? Where are the white people on the radio that brag about what it's like to murder witnesses before trial? The truth is they don't exist. And the question is why? Why don't they exist? Do white people not kill people? Do white people not use AK-47s to shoot each other? I mean, we know white people not do drugs. Do they not deal drugs? Of course they do. But why is it that it doesn't make it to our mainstream radio? Why is it that we don't hear it hundreds of times a day in hundreds of cities across the nation, thousands of plays that say the idea that a black...
Do white people not kill people? Do white people not kill people with AK-47s? Do white people not sell drugs? Of course they do. But how come we don't know about it? How come they're not on the radio? Like black people. Keep listening.
I would kill another black eye is something to be celebrated, something to be romanticized. And why is it the white people don't do it? And maybe it's because there's no white audience for it. Or maybe it's because it's not really marketable. Maybe because can't get sponsors. I don't know why it is. Or maybe it's because it's just not the white man's role. Or maybe when white people get up and talk about being drug dealers and AK-47 killers, maybe it's even sicker than that. Maybe when white people do it, they're accused of acting black. The truth is, in America, black murder is normal. Black murder is normal. The idea that a black man or a black woman would be involved in a homicide, either as a perpetrator or a victim, is so common, so broadly accepted that it basically goes unnoticed. The truth of the matter is black families are affected by homicide at rates of 10 times their white counterparts. There will be more death in the form of homicide involving black people this year than any other form of violence that dominates our national conversation. More than school shootings, mall shootings, mass shootings, workplace shootings, lovers trysts that turn violent and bloody, even more than in war and in terrorism. No one will lose their life at greater numbers than black Americans involved in violence. Now, when you talk about what's going on in one segment of society and somehow tie it to what's going on someplace else, you kind of lose people, they detach. This is our unknowing. Prejudice, discrimination, and racism are not the same. We know prejudice, it exists in human hearts and minds. Discrimination exists in hands and policies, but racism is neither in hearts and minds, nor is it really in policies. As a matter of fact, it doesn't take action to keep racism going, it takes inaction. It doesn't take hearts and minds to keep racism going, it actually has to keep things out of people's mind. Racism is like the millstone that churns along in the background. It just goes generation in and generation out and keeps turning out the same generational outcomes. Racism is like the nicotine stains left on the walls after the smoking tenants move out. They take the couch, they take the clock, they take the picture, but the evidence that they've been there still remains. Now, when I speak black murder being normal, I'm talking about the combination of commonality and palatability. You know, black murder in our country is not only common, it's not only frequent, but it's an idea that we celebrate. It's an idea that we say is okay. We actually make heroes and out of the notion, heroes out of people that trivialize and romanticize it. How common is black murder? Well, in some demographics in the United States, it's very common. According to the CDC, they release a report every year called the LCOD, leading cause of death. Every year, it's been this way year in and year out for the past decade, as far back as they list on their site. Black males ages 15 to 34, the number one cause of death is homicide. The number one cause of death. For white males, it's number 3. When you hear that, you instantly go, well, yeah, I mean, that would seem right. I mean, I know, I hear of black on black crime, right? Hear about urban crime. So I guess, yeah, number 1 to number 3. I mean, it's a problem, but really not that bad. But the devil is always in the details. The truth of the matter is that if I were to take everybody that dies in this year, every black male 15 to 34, and I brought them into a room December 31st, said, all of you have made it to the afterlife. And I want to take a quick survey. How many of you got here by cancer? A few voices say, me. How many of you got hit by auto accidents? Me. How many of you died of a heart attack on an athletic field? Me. And I said, how many of you were gunned down by another human being? And half the room would raise their hands. Every time I show this information, people always say, well, if the number 3 cause of death for white males, what is the number 1 cause of death? And without fail, year after year, it's called unintentional injuries, accidents, falling off a four-wheeler, crashing a go-kart, or bungee jumping without paying attention to, knots and things like that. And so basically, the American story is white kids are dying because they're clumsy, and black kids are dying because they're gunned down. Chicago, just like New Orleans, just like Jacksonville, just like Little Rock, how common is black murder? The past 3 years, there's been about 1,270 victims of homicide, 2012, all the way to this week in 2014. And of those victims, 64 were white. Now, this transcends the simple diagnosis that we have. Well, it's education, it's poverty, it's family structure. As you study it locally, nationally, as you study it decade after decade, it doesn't follow any of those easy answers. Something much deeper and much darker to work. How common is black murder? In my entire life, 1973 to 2014, there has never been a year since I've been breathing that blacks have not been overrepresented in homicide. Never a year that you go into a morgue and you don't see
black people, for as long as he's been living, there has never been a time where they have been overrepresented when it comes to homicide, even though the leading cause of death is accidents. Now, you ask yourself, with 13% of the population, how is it that we're committing all of these crimes when 40% of our population is incarcerated? That's a mathematical impossibility. Continue to listen.
Overrepresented. It's the story of America. It's certainly the story of America in my lifetime. My question is, what will be the first year that we see it a 1-to-1 ratio? I mean, if it's somewhere between 7-to-1 and 10-to-1 now, I mean, when will it be 1-to-1? We would consider it a huge national victory if we ever got it to 5-to-1, to 4-to-1, to 3-to-1. Violent crime has gone down over the past 40 years. People say, isn't that great? No, because prison has gone up over the past 40 years. And no matter the fact that violent crime has gone down or prison has gone up, what's never closed is the gap. There's always that gap, 6-to-1, 7-to-1, 8-to-1.
Now, this is what I've been talking about for a while, right? Even though crime has gone down over the years, for some reason, the black violence stays the same. Even though people are being incarcerated, it stays the same. The number stays the same. We've been 12 and 13% of the population of this country for as long as I've been alive. I don't know how the hell they're managing to keep that number at 13% with all of the babies we make. But for some reason, even when crime goes down, our numbers so-called stay the same. Even though we have many young black men incarcerated. Why is that? Does that give anybody pause? That these jigaboos like Ramil and Prophet of Thought and the Manosphere, who are doing nothing but spewing white supremacist talking points, they're too dumb to figure this out because they're sellouts. But for some reason, although crime goes up and down, somehow it managed to go around our numbers. Keep listening.
Usually it's the smartest person in the room at this point that yells out from the back, so are you saying you want more white people killed? And then all of a sudden I realized that's why we die in clumsy accidents. All right, here we go.
Now, note one more thing. They said black people commit the most homicides, but yet the leading cause of death overall in this country are accidents. Keep that in mind, too.
Question is, why is this going on? Why is this the story of my life? Why is this the story of my country? And everyone in this room falls into one of two categories. You're in one of two categories. There's something wrong with them. Some core deficiency in black people that are just prone to violence. We use anecdotal evidence to talk about that. Or there's something wrong with us. And depending on what category you fall in, if there's something wrong with them, you point fingers. You need to do something. If you say there's something wrong with us, then you roll up your sleeves and you get busy. Well, the truth is there is something wrong with us. And this years ago, we set off a bomb, and that bomb affected our cultural soil. It affected our definitions. It affected our expectations. It affected who we are, how we describe.
Okay, now, one of the reasons why I like this guy, because he set everybody up perfectly. Now he's about to drop a bomb. He's about to spill the beans. He's about to tell you what's behind all of this faulty data. Now, he done set you up. He gets you believing that the number one cause of death in black society is homicide, and that black people commit all of the crimes. There's something wrong with black people, right? Now listen to what he says now.
Ourselves and how we describe other people. What we believe down to the core of our being. It's in our air, it's in our cultural water, and it's passed down from generation to generation. Now, again, it would take me a few TED Talks to really get into this, but the bomb is about lies. It's about deep lies. One of the lies is that blackness is somehow associated with criminality, sexual deviance, and violence. That when you...
Stop. Boom. He just said it's about lies. Deep lies. The first lie is that somehow blackness is associated with criminality. Lie number one. Deep lie. This is a white man telling you. This is the man that these jigaboos cape for. Now, one of their white slave masters is telling them that their statistics and their talking points is the product of a lie. And not just any lie, a deep lie. Let's continue.
Come across blackness that inherent in being black, there's some sort of deviance, violence, and criminality associated. And that's a derivative of a greater lie, which is that somehow black life is inferior to white life, that the value of it is less. That if you were weighed in the scale, that black life just weighs a little less. That if you were trying to cash it in on the street, you'd get a little less money for it. And these are essential to, these are the lies that help build our nation, help build the Western world. And here's what's interesting about this, is these lies are not only lies we told about black people, but we told to them. I was in the unsolved homicides meeting here in Jacksonville last year, 11 unsolved homicides.
Check this out. He said, as a white man, he said these are not only the lies that we tell about black people, but the lies we tell to black people. He said these aren't only lies we tell about black people, but these are also lies we tell to black people.
Up there with the families. They were having a conversation with our sheriff's department, and on the walls were all the pictures of the victims. You already know the vast majority of the pictures were black residents of Jacksonville. There were white families there, certainly, and I'm not trying to say that it doesn't happen among the white community. Of course it does. But I'll never forget, a mom interrupted the detective. She said, "Excuse me, I have a question." He said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I know you don't know who killed my daughter, but I have a more important question." He said, "What is that?" She said, "When you picked my daughter's body up off the side of the road," she said, "How did you do it?" He said, "What do you mean, how did I do it?" She said, "Well, did you pick her up?"
Do me a favor, Phoenix Jane. Hold off on that question. I don't want to change the narrative. I want people to listen to the information.
Pick her up, slam her down, zip her up, and put it in. She says, "I want to know how you treated my daughter's body when you picked it up off the ground." She said, "Did you treat it like you would treat a white man's daughter?" That's a very interesting question. As though a mother doesn't have enough to deal with, she also has to wonder that when the people working the crime did it, did they work it as somebody's personal, precious life was solved, or is it just another dead black kid on the street? Another mother popped up. She said, "Yeah, I know you don't have the answer to who killed my son." He says, "Ma'am, you know I would call you if I had it. I want to call you." She said, "I know I don't need a phone call." She said, "But I do need to know that you pay attention to it. And I do need to know that my son's death matters." And here's why. Because she sees the files on his desk in her mind. And she sees the stacks in her mind of dead black kids. And she sees the stacks of little white kids. And she just wants to make sure that in the common thing that happens all the time, that her son's life is just as precious as everyone else's. Black murder is normal. I mean, when I talk about it, none of you are really shocked. The most you can say is, "Well, I didn't know it was that bad," which brings up the real question about palatability. Are we comfortable with it being like this? Are we comfortable? I'm 41 years old. Are we comfortable with living in a nation where this goes on? Well, if we're not comfortable, we're not okay. Are we appalled and outraged? when I say we, I mean we. Are we appalled and outraged? That's the question. There are certainly people all over the country doing something about it, but when I discovered that them doing something about it is totally different than we doing something about it. Now, a lot of things that you have to understand is this about racism. And when I talk about prejudice, discrimination, and racism, the answer lies right here. It wouldn't seem like the answer is here, but if you want to know how comfortable we are with black murder, you just got to look at the marketplace. But when you see this photo 1 week after Dr. King won the...
Okay, now check this out. He's about to tell you how marketable Black Death is. And one of the reasons why these talking points exist, you see, they not only lie to black people, lie about black people, they make money off these lies. They kill two birds with one stone. They tarnish the image of black people, and then they make money off of that tarnished image.
Montgomery bus court case, and they decided to...
This is why you got so many coons selling out, because they've made it lucrative to lie about black people. White people have made a business out of lying on black people. This is why you have jigaboos like Ramil getting paid from white supremacists to continue to spew white supremacist talking points and lies about black people. This is why you have the manosphere attacking black women. It's lucrative. White people have made it lucrative to lie about black people and to spew faulty data about black people, which we're going to blow up too, because their go-to report about these so-called, this massive crime wave that's being perpetuated by 13% of the population, that's been knocked down to 5.2% after 40% is incarcerated. Right? We're going to go to their #1 publication where they get all this stuff from, which is FBI crime report statistics. We're going to blow that up too.
Eliminate the racist policies or the discriminatory policies. This is his picture. It was a great victory. And you know about the prejudice, you know about the discrimination, but right here on the front of the bus is the racism. Because racism exists in the unchecked and the unchallenged normal. My question is, 60 years later, what in the world is a Pepsi ad doing on the front of a bus company that makes black people sit in the back? What?
Now think about what he just said. A bus company that makes black people sit in the back. A bus company that blatantly discriminates against black people. What is a Pepsi Cola ad doing on the front of it? Now, how many black people support Pepsi? How many black people support Coca-Cola? They're supporting racism. They're supporting discrimination. But yet you support them by purchasing their product. And they're putting their ads on the face of your discrimination. Again, they've made it lucrative to lie about black people, to discriminate against black people.
What's it doing there? I mean, the Pepsi CEO look back on it today and go, yeah, that was a fail. Shouldn't have done that. Are they ashamed? Are they ashamed that they would have? Well, let me ask you this. Could they do it today? If I started a bus company in Jacksonville and said, I got this great thing, beautiful bus, I want Pepsi's name on it. They said, let's do the deal. I said, the deal is gays, blacks, and Jews sit at the back. They couldn't put their name on that. Why? Because as American attitudes change, as American definitions change, as American norms change, guess who else has to change? The marketplace. There's certain things they could get away with when that type of thing was normal that they can't get away with now. The same thing not only goes with policy, it goes with entertainment. My favorite cartoon, one of them all time, is Tom and Jerry. This is Mammy Two Shoes. Mammy Two Shoes, you never saw her except for a couple of times above the knees. She was always the one yelling at Thomas the cat for what he was doing. She was voiced by...
Okay, I can't show this. I guess I don't have my engineer with me today, but remember the Tom and Jerry cartoon? Remember the black lady that they used to show? They never showed her face. They only showed her legs and her arms, and that she was overweight. That's what he's referring to, Mammy Two Shoes. That's how blatantly racist Tom and Jerry used to be, and nobody paid any mind to it.
Lillian Randolph, a great radio actress, but here's the interesting thing. White entertainers create white entertainment, they carve out a black role, and the black role that they saw fit was to play this stereotypical black woman. That lasted up until the early 50s. Then huge protests broke out, and they said, you know what? We don't want to be portrayed like that anymore. And to this day, if you want to watch Tom and Jerry, you go home, you want to watch it on Netflix, you want to watch it on Amazon, this comes up on the screen. It says, what you're about to watch contains some racial stereotypes. They were wrong then, and they're wrong now. They were commonplace. We don't want to edit her out because that...
Now, this is amazing, right? If you go and watch Tom and Jerry now, what comes up on the screen is Tom and Jerry shorts may depict some ethnic and racial prejudices that were once commonplace in American society, such depictions were wrong then and are wrong today. See, the problem I have with this statement, right? One, it's too little too late. The problem I have with the part here where it says, such depictions were wrong then, and they're wrong now. They were wrong then, and nothing was being done about it. And white people were the voices of those racist caricatures that was in these movies and cartoons. I'm sorry, not movies, these cartoons. And now you have today, black people are the voices of some of these racist cartoons. You'd be surprised the voices that are behind some of these racist cartoons and these androgynous cartoons. They're voices of very well-known black people, such as Whoopi Goldberg and the likes.
That would pretend, that would make it like it never happened. We're going to put her in, but know that we know there's something wrong with this. Now, we don't have Mammy Two Shoes today, and you can't get away with it. Nobody would put out there. But we do have black people that get on the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hyper-criminalized male. I ask these advertisers, I say, I've got hundreds of songs.
Did you hear what he just said? He said, we don't have Mammy Two Shoes today. It's basically been replaced by black males who get on white radio stations owned by white companies and play the role as hyper over-sexualized males. Let me say that one more time. There's no more Mammy Two Shoes. What has replaced it is black males on the radio station, white radio stations owned by white companies, playing the hypersexualized or hyper over-sexualized black male, going along with the lie, helping white people profit from a lie that they created against their own people. This is why I no longer have any respect for black people in the music industry. They're nothing but pets. They're nothing. They have been weaponized against their own people. And for what? For fame and money. And they don't own their own fame, and they don't own their own money. It's fictional fame, borrowed fame, created by a white racist society. Sellouts, scared Negroes that are willing to go on these racist media sites that are owned by racist whites and partake in a lie against their own people.
a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends. Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get black folks to sing about it, we can brand it for our young black audiences. I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetite.
Think about what he's saying. He said you can have 100 songs about killing animals. They won't put it on the radio stations. You can have 100 songs about killing non-black people. They won't put it on a radio station. But you can have 100 songs about killing black people. It depends on who is saying it and who is the target audience, because there's a market for it. Again, this is why you have jigaboos like Ramil and the Manosphere. They're in it for the money. It's a tragedy that we have our own people who are in it for the money and don't give a damn about us, our women or children. Don't give a damn about the damage that they're causing by continuing this lie and partaking in this lie and spewing this lie out of their mouths on their social media platforms.
To see these people that way. I said, how can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what the artists know. It's what they, black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates...
Phoenix Jane, please do me a favor. Just hold back a little bit. I don't want to start a different conversation in the chat. I want people to hear this information so they can see through what's going on out here once and for all. I don't want y'all to get into different conversations and distract yourselves from this information. What this white man is saying is extremely powerful. He's basically spilling the beans and letting you know what's going on. And why these things are the way they are. And the origin of these things and where it comes from.
Celebrates murdering another person, and then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it, and then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's black guys, because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that type of inspiration. We call it our music. We say we own it. White people buy more rap than black people. Yeah, but we're very careful to turn.
Listen to what he just said. He said white people buy rap music more than black people. And so when white people think about killing other people, they use rap for inspiration. You tell me who's more violent.
Down at the stoplight when other black people are there. Why? Because we know we're just pretending for them. It's more authentic and real. I always ask the companies, what about your name? What about your brand? What about your value? And the largest radio company in the world said this: it's okay that we only have drug dealers on our black youth stations. We only have murders on our black youth stations. We support black charities. We give out water at the Martin Luther King parade. I think we've got it covered.
The largest radio station in the world said, it's okay that we have black murderers on our radio stations. It's okay that we have black drug dealers on our radio stations. It's okay because we support black charities and we give out bottles of water at the Martin Luther King Day parade.
We bought them off. Now, people get upset, the smartest guys in the room again. You're talking about censorship. I don't believe that. I believe in free art. Make whatever you want. I believe you should make music about anti-Semitism. I believe you should make music about killing dogs. I believe in this country you should make music about bashing homosexuals and driving them behind trucks. I believe you should make music about stringing people up on trees. I believe you should make music about killing whitey. I believe you should make all that music. But I also believe that in the mainstream marketplace, people should hesitate associating their name with certain content. You know, there's certain stuff you can't buy at the store, certain stuff you can't get on iTunes because their brand doesn't want it. But if you want to hear black people celebrating killing black people, they got thousands and thousands and thousands of those things to sell you. I don't think it's about censorship. I think it's about American cultural hypocrisy. Because here's the truth. These black entertainers, they can't sing just about anything. There's some stuff that'll get them fired, and they get dropped, and they get fired, and they get slapped on the wrist, and they get disciplined all the time. Why? Because sometimes they step over the bounds. A very famous case is what happened with Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the Mammy Two Shoes, one of the many Mammy Two Shoes of our day. He's a black entertainer. The world carved out for him and a role carved out for him by white entertainment companies. And one day he talked about, in the middle of the song, he celebrated killing drugs and killing blacks. He made a reference to date rape. And when he made that reference to date rape, that set social media on fire. That got 100,000 petitions in 24 hours. Hey, buddy, date rape is no joke. That
very interesting about Rick Ross, right? Dude out here making songs about killing black people and selling drugs. Nobody gave a damn about that. So millions of records. But as soon as he put one line in his rap song about date rape, he lost his position. He disappeared. He was disavowed. How dare you put a reference to date rape? We said that you should be making music about killing blacks. We said you should be making music about blacks selling drugs. Now, notice this white man called Rick Ross a Mammy Two Shoes. We're going to hashtag that, people. That's going to be one of our new insults to the manosphere. Let's start calling them Mammy Two Shoes. This white man just called Rick Ross a Mammy Two Shoes, the same racist stereotype that was in Tom and Jerry. Because like a bad little pet, he didn't obey Massa and got his behind tattled and sent to the SPCA. Massa said, go out there and make songs about killing black people and selling drugs in the black community. We have a market for that to young black youth. He did that and got cute and said something about date rape and got spanked and sent to the SPCA to be put down. Where is Rick Ross today? Is he somewhere waiting to be the next spokesperson of Weight Watchers? What if I told you that 99% of black people never committed a crime? What if I told you that all of this BS about black people doing crime is only in the 1% of our population, and that 99% of black people have never committed a crime? What if I told you that the same black people keep committing the same crimes because they're repeat offenders? What if I told you that the black people that are committing crimes are gangbangers? And that this so-called crime wave that they're using to paint the rest of us with a broad brush is hyper-sensationalized in the media. Look at the murders that are going down in the communities. Gang members shooting. The 7-year-old girl who just got murdered in a car with her father. Gang affiliated. The shit that's going on in Chicago. Gang affiliated. I've said this before. Black people do not kill black people like that. And the funny thing about Chicago, according to them, it's the worst place on earth. It's the most dangerous place on earth, but yet it's not even in the top 50 of the most violent cities in America. Forget about the top 10, the top 5. It's not even in the top 50. Its position when it comes down to the most violent cities in America, its position is number 73. So it's not even in the top 50, but yet they're telling you all of these murders are happening. For some reason, no one is getting arrested. But all of these shootings and murders in Chicago is the most violent place on earth, but not even in the top 50 when it comes to the most violent cities in America. Here we go with the lies again, right?
Had white people standing outside of Reebok in New York saying, "You better take this seriously. We're tired of a rape culture in America." One line in one song moved the masses. And you know what Reebok did? Did they stand by him and say, "Hey, we believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of expression. It's just a song. Calm down." No, they fired his tail on the spot. The president came out and said, "This goes against our high standards. He's gone against the values of our brand. Shame on Rick Ross. We're disappointed. He doesn't know how serious date rape is." When I saw that, I thought, wow, how can...
Wow. They handed Rick Ross his ass, huh? They didn't give a damn about him talking about killing black people. But as soon as he said something about the date rape, he got his ass handed to him. All them white people came out and man, how dare you? You dog. How dare you, you chubby chihuahua? Bad dog. Bad dog.
Isn't that amazing? But here's what really happened. It's not their brand, it's not their values. Rick Ross went off script. He was hired to get black customers, and they think that black customers go with black bait. And in America, black bait is the hyper-criminalized, hypersexualized portrayal of black people. And as long as he had sung about that, the stuff that got him hired, he still have a job at Reebok. But when he touched other sensitivities that affect us, he lost his job. See, the truth is, it's not they that need to change. It's we that need to change. We created the lies. We created them for our profit.
Okay, this is a white man telling you. This is their master. This is the man that these jigaboos look up to. White Daddy is telling you that they created the lies about black people and that they make money off of these lies. This is a white man telling you. I'm not saying this. You're listening to a white man tell you the truth. That white people created this lie about black people being the most violent, the most prone to crime, and all this hypersexual crap. And they make money off of it, and they hire coons to partake in it. And as long as the jigaboos are being a good little doggy, they get their doggy biscuits. But when the doggy acts like Rick Ross, bad doggy. No more doggy biscuits for you.
Own the companies, we own record labels, we own the advertisers, and we keep putting it out. And it's this that's...
He said they own the record labels, they own the advertisers, they own the medias, they own the companies, and they keep putting it out. They control the narrative. Black people don't actually commit these crimes. White people make up lies about black people committing these crimes. And these jigaboos, like Ramil, Prophet of Thought, the Manosphere, and the likes, they go right along with it because they want doggy biscuits. They want their little doggy biscuits. They running around with their little tail wagging for master, with their tongue out. Oh, and by the way, the tongue is black from licking shoe polish all day. You're out here licking the shoe polish off of master's boots, and he giving you all of this fake love. I mean, these dudes are licking the shoe polish off of master's boots so well that the steel is showing in the steel toe. Master's walking around with a pair of boots with the steel showing, looking like he can tap dance with his feet upside down. That's how good the doggy is licking Master's boots.
Gotta change. I thought about it. You know what? I wonder if White Mike could get anybody's attention on this. So I went outside of a Walmart. And I said, hey, I don't think killing cops and killing blacks is very cool. And you know, it only took 7 weeks. White Mike standing out there, and they wrote a letter and said, yeah, we don't think it's cool either. We're going to pull our name off of that. The largest retailer in the world had never considered that maybe their commercial shouldn't be right before or after a song about young black men being gunned down. And I realized this, the black murder is normal, but it should not be. And I realized the importance at the coffee table, at every headline, every pastor's gathering, every family gathering to say, you know what, these Black Lives Matter. It's not just another black kid. These are human beings. I'm doing my best in every way, shape, and form. Talk like this everywhere I can go to say, you know what, I was born in a world where black murder was normal. My kids were born into a world where black murder is normal, but I don't want to die in a world where black murder is normal. Am I 5 years or 10 years away? I don't know, but I'm screaming as high as I can. Let's feel this pain and let's lift our voice to tell the lies. They are not criminals, they are not deviants, and their lives are just as important as ours. Thank you very much.
All right, that's the conclusion of Mr. White Mike on TED Talks, who ended it with saying that these are lies and that black people aren't criminals and black people don't commit these kinds of crimes. 99% of black people have never committed a crime. So let's take a look at something else here. Let's take a look at the FBI crime statistics, because this is their go-to. They love to go to the FBI crime statistics. Okay, so right off the bat, let me tell you something about the FBI crime statistics. Okay? FBI crime statistics is based off of arrest. It does not take into account who's been wrongly arrested, who's been wrongly accused and let go. It doesn't take into account the outcome of court cases. So for all intents and purposes, the FBI crime report is an inaccurate report to go by when you're trying to measure who commits the more crimes in this country. That's like the last thing you even want to think about, because there's just too many things it doesn't take into account. It actually really, right, two categories in it doesn't even consider race. Like, for example, one thing here, hold on one second here. Let me take a look at something here. So, violent crimes are committed at 27% by black people, 27%, right? Now, 27%. I want you to listen to this other, I got something else we're going to talk about here about the FBI report. Have a listen. This is a comprehensive breakdown of the FBI crime statistics in their reports. This is their go-to piece of garbage that they use to try to say that black people commit all these crimes. And I'm still trying to figure out how the hell does 13% of the population commit all the crimes when 40% of that population is incarcerated? How the hell are we pulling that off? I tell you, because it's a lie to begin with. Listen to this here.
People were still saying this racist talk. I just wanted to make you wait for it. Okay, cool. Ready to get started? Let's do it.
All right, can you guys hear?
People make up 13% of the population but commit over half the crime. What's your source? FBI data tables. You can't argue with it because it's an irrefutable fact. To argue against FBI data tables is to argue against objectivity itself. According to Table 43A, black people are arrested for 27.4%. Like game of telephone, this talking point got more hyperbolic with every.
Okay, now the first part of this Table A of the FBI crime statistics tell you that black people are only arrested at a clip of 27.4%. That's already problematic with the 13%, right? It's not even that many black arrests. That's puny in the grand scheme of things.
Those driven by fear have a long history of exaggerating the threat black people are to society. But if they do commit over half the violent crime, black people make up 13% of the population, but commit over half the violent crime. The data table says black people are arrested for 37.4% of violent crime, which means, according to my calculations, less than half. Well, they do commit half of the murder. Black people make up 13% of the population, but commit over half the murders. How many of the unsolved murders do black people commit? About half of them. If it's unsolved, how do you know who the murderer is?
Now, that's another thing that they put into the black category, unsolved murders. Like you said, if the murder is unsolved, then how do you know who committed it? And then if they're only arrested for 37% of violent crimes and murder, where are the convictions? See, this is just based off of arrest. It's not telling you that black people were convicted of these crimes, which would make the data a little bit more stable. But the FBI crime statistics doesn't go off of what goes on in the courts. It just goes by who gets arrested. That doesn't tell you who's committing crimes. It tells you who is being arrested and being accused of committing crimes. But there is no end game there. There is no finished product there. It doesn't tell you that the person that was arrested for being accused of committing a violent crime was tried and convicted. It just tells you that they were arrested. And it doesn't take into account false arrest. If you are arrested, you're arrested. If it's a false arrest, it doesn't come off the statistics of the crime report. It will still say you've been arrested.
About a third of murders go unsolved. Data table 3 shows that 29.5% of the murders are done by an offender of an unknown race. And black people make up 38% of murder offenders, which is less than half. Wait, they only make.
So they make up 38% of the so-called violent offenders who commit violent crimes. Yet 29.5% of those crimes are done by an assailant of an unknown race. You see how these numbers don't jive? 38% arrested for these crimes, but yet 29.5% of these crimes are done by an assailant of unknown race.
% of the population. Anything over 15% just too disproportionate. Black people make up 13% of the population and commit over a third of murders. The next issue is how the data tables interpret who is and isn't black. Zoe Saldana is a black woman, and she claims her blackness, as she should.
Now, Zoe Saldana she played in the Colombiana. She also played in the Guardians of the Galaxy. She calls herself black, but her real ethnicity is Hispanic or Spanish. But yet she's identified as black.
Dominican, and her mother is Puerto Rican. So her
father's Dominican, her mother's Puerto Rican.
FBI Data Table 3 is broken down into 3 categories: sex, race, and ethnicity. If a Hispanic woman were to commit a murder, her sex would be listed as female, her ethnicity would be listed as Hispanic or Latino, but what would you list for her race? You might assume it would go under the other category. Notice in 2018 that 312 murder offenders had their race listed as other. The table says here at the bottom that other includes American Indian or Alaska Native. I can't believe we still refer to people not from India as Indians, but Columbus was a stable genius, I guess.
Now here's
Asian and Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islanders. So if other doesn't include Hispanic or Latino people, I ask again, what would the agency list for a race?
So now, when these people get accused of these crimes and get arrested, right? Even Latino people, right? Their ethnicity is listed on the FBI crime report as Hispanic or Latino. That's their ethnicity. But their race is classified as black. This is a classic case of fudging the numbers. Their race is classified as black. They don't go under other because other includes Alaskan, Hawaiian, Indian, and I forgot the last one. But it doesn't include Hispanics or Latinos. So where would the race? Because Hispanic isn't a race. Latino isn't a race. So what race do they go under? They can't go under other because they're not Hawaiian or Alaskan or Indian. So what race do they go under? They go under Black American or Black or African American. That's what they don't tell you. And you can look at the FBI crime statistics for yourself. That's what they don't tell you. What they don't tell you is Hispanic and Latino isn't a race. So when they get caught committing these crimes, their race get put down and classified as black, which boosts the numbers through the roof. See, black people aren't committing these crimes. Black people aren't a violent people. We don't kill each other like they're claiming that we do. And the white man just came on here and told you that these are lies. And I'm looking at, I wish Dane was here because I can't share my screen, but I'm looking at the FBI crime statistic report right now, and it tell you that Hispanic and Latino, right, commits what, 6,021 murders, but yet they go under the category, when it comes down to race, they go under black or African American, because Hispanic and Latino isn't a race. Again, 99% of black people have never committed a crime.
for crime. There are only two possibilities: the white column and the black column. There are no other columns on the table. That's not me saying that that's the structure of the table. But don't worry, I will estimate in favor of white murderers, giving them as much benefit of the doubt as possible. 53% of Hispanic and Latino Americans identify as white Hispanic. So 53% of the 1,576 Hispanic or Latino offenders is 836 rounded up. Of the 4,884 white offenders, an estimated 836 were actually Hispanic whites. That leaves 740 brown people with nowhere to go but under the black or African American column. Keep in mind, not all agencies collect ethnicity data, so many Latinos are listed as simply black or simply white. Black and brown people make up 13% of the population, yet commit not so fast. Oh no, not this. You mean not yourself? What?
Okay, and so black people and brown people, they're saying now, are 13% of the population, but commit over half the murders or commit over half the crimes in this country, which is impossible because you have incarceration. You don't have black people everywhere in this country. So the numbers at best are faulty. So this myth, and it is a myth about black people killing each other and creating and killing all of these murders, is a bunch of BS. And how come they're only okay? And then here's another thing: how come these murders are only in urban areas? If we was committing half the crimes in the country, shouldn't black people be committing crimes and killing crimes in Iowa, Idaho, out in the Midwest, these sundown towns where you don't see any black people at? How come blacks aren't committing murders out there? Since we're supposed to be responsible for half the murders and half the crime that's being committed in this country.
Population and commit a third of the murders. If you are arrested for a crime, does that mean that you committed the crime? I'll do you one better. Do trials exist? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? FBI data tables are based off of arrests, not court findings. On the uniform crime
Again, FBI data tables are based off of arrest, not court findings. Further making these numbers fraudulent. These statistics are based off of arrest and arrest only. Just because you got arrested for being accused of committing a crime doesn't mean you will be convicted of that crime. But the FBI data table doesn't take that into account. All it takes into the account is that you've been arrested. That's it. And this is what they based their talking points on with these jigaboos like Ramil and the Prophet of Thought. They based their talking points off of FBI crime data, which is inaccurate and only takes into the account someone being arrested for allegedly committing a crime. Hey y'all, I don't mean to be rude, but we're trying to get some real information here. Y'all done started a whole nother conversation that's going to break the focus of what we're trying to find out here. Y'all seem to be going back and forth about who's claiming to be black, which really is irrelevant. We're trying to get down to the nitty gritty of why black people are being lied on and trying to get to the origin of why these coons are running these white racist talking points. And we're getting to the truth of the matter, to where this information is coming from. I would love black people to focus on this information, and let's not get distracted by some Latino woman who thinks she's black. I mean, who cares? There's a lot of people walking around here who think they're black. I really want us to get into this information. I'm almost done anyway. I want y'all to hear this because the next time these jigaboos throw this shit up in your face, you can hit them over the fucking head with the truth.
The fine print says, and I quote, the classification of these offenses based solely on police investigation over here, as opposed to determination of a court, medical examiner, coroner, jury, or any other judicial body. Yes. Hallelujah. Yes. Well, let's say, for the sake of argument, that 1 year, everyone tried in criminal court is found innocent. Everyone. Right. But those innocent people were still arrested, and those arrests go on the FBI data table with which you use to support your claim that black people commit more crimes.
Exactly. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? They don't even take into accountability that people are innocent. All they put down is that you've been arrested for allegedly committing a crime. If you are innocent or you're let go, it doesn't take that into account. It's still going to show that you've been arrested, and this is what they base their talking points off of: arrest. They have no real factual data that black people commit any more crimes than anyone else in this country. It's a bunch of hyperbole. That's all it is. Man, why are we getting into arguments and debates about people who are mixed up with their culture, calling themselves black? You know, we always getting into these arguments about nothing that distract us from the things that we should be focusing on. Who gives a damn about who calls themselves black? We have to stop allowing ourselves to be distracted by these trivial things. We can't stop people from calling themselves black. That's not going to stop. They're going to be posers, imitators from here to doomsday. We need to focus on these lies that are being told and get the correct information to combat these lies that are being put out here to tarnish our image and go after these coons who have taken payola to turn against us and put our women and children in harm's way. We got entirely too many jigaboos on social media spewing these lies about black people. And it's devastating to us. The whites are making money off of us, and we got these jigaboos making money off of us too. And our children are being murdered. Our women are being murdered. But yet we seem to be more concerned with some mixed up person who thinks she's black. Man, aggravating. What's aggravating is a 7-year-old girl being lit up 6 times in the car with her father, who said that he don't give a damn about his daughter. He wouldn't die for her, but he'd die for his niggas who are out here committing crimes as repeat offenders who they use to paint a broad brush over all of us. That's aggravating. I don't give a damn about some woman calling herself black who's not black. What about our children that are being murdered by these lunatics who are perpetuating these crimes and who are repeat offenders and putting our children in harm's way? And these jigaboos are out here painting us all with a broad brush and helping the white man make money and profit off of our demise. Hold on one second. And profit off our demise. And then these jigaboos are training other young black men and women to go along with these lies. I don't even know how we got into this. This is what bothers me about us, man. We don't focus on the right stuff. Now we don't went way out of bounds over some shit that don't even matter. We got 7-year-old girls being lit up like piñatas and target dummies. And we were having this long, and we're in here having a ridiculous back and forth about somebody on television or in the movies claiming that she's black. Who gives a damn? That's not our problem. Our problem is these lies and these jigaboos partaking in these lies and these gangbangers who are repeat offenders that are carrying out these crimes in our communities that they're painting a broad brush over all of us with. Yeah, man, we get distracted too easily, man. That's why we're chasing our tails. You know, we got a lot of problems, man. We can't stay focused. We can't stay focused, and we just too interested in gossip. We got some serious problems out here, but we're concerned with a superstar that don't give a damn about none of us, who's mixed up about her damn culture. That's not our problem. To hell with her. Who cares what she thinks she is? I don't give a damn. She thought she was a crayon in a Crayola box. Who gives a shit? What about the 7-year-old girl who was shot 9 times by a psychotic lunatic who's a gangbanger in our communities? And whose father caused her to be murdered because of his immature and disgusting act by desecrating someone's grave. And you got a white man who just sat up here and told you the origin of where these lies come from. These lies were created by white people, and white people profit off of these lies. And you have jigaboos who are helping them maintain this lie. Jigaboos like Ramil and Prophet of Thought in the manosphere. But yet we concerned about some crazy woman who's a mega superstar that don't care nothing about us, claiming that she's black. She's confused about her ethnicity or culture, whatever. Don't give a damn about none of that. See, the things that we need to be fighting and we're focused on, I'm sorry, the things that we should be fighting against, the hardest, we don't pay any attention to. And the things that we shouldn't be paying any attention to at all, we seem to fight for the hardest. And we make the biggest and loudest sounds about. That's one of our biggest problems. Yeah, just his immature. Look at the immaturity of the fathers in the community today. And immaturity got a 7-year-old girl murdered in cold blood, broad daylight at a fucking McDonald's. And we're not concerned about that. We want to get into a gossip contest about some woman who wears blue makeup on a movie called The Galaxy the Guardians of the Galaxy, who may think she is or isn't black. That seems to be more important to us than this 7-year-old girl whose life was taken away like it was insignificant. Like I said, things that we should be fighting for, we don't fight for, and the things that we should have nothing to do with, we fight the hardest for. And then get mad about it and ready to kill each other over things that we shouldn't even be paying our attention to. I bet you if I wouldn't have intervened and said anything, y'all probably would have got into a verbal altercation in here over something as meaningless as this woman who wears blue makeup, body makeup, and plays a character in a movie who thinks she is or isn't black. Y'all probably would have got into a verbal altercation. And it was heading that way. Because once we start seeing people type, well, that's your opinion. No, that's your opinion. The verbal altercation is right around the corner. So we're fighting about that. We're fighting about that. That's what we're fighting about. We're not fighting to get these bums out of our community that are committing these heinous crimes at double the rate because they're repeat offenders, because they're gangbangers. And that crime is sensationalized in the media. It's what they use to paint a lie over all black people. We're not concerned about that. We don't want to fight about that, but we want to get into it with each other and ready to tear each other a new asshole over some bullshit we shouldn't even be putting any energy into. Who gives a damn about what she thinks she is? That's her issue. That has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. And then what bothers me is we try to put out serious content to help our people, and you come in here and distract everybody with this nonsense that we shouldn't be giving any energy to. Now everybody is distracted and not listening to the information. Exactly, Auntie. And I'm sitting up here watching this. I'm sitting there, and you know what? And not only watching this, but the nonchalant attitude from those who just want to gossip and distract everybody from the information. What that white man said was some powerful. He told you the truth of where this comes from. All right, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to be quiet for a little bit. I'm just going to sit back and watch y'all talk. Yeah, yeah. And see, the sad part about this is y'all think this is funny. It's not funny. This type of stuff is devastating us. We're over here fighting and getting into it with each other about the wrong things, things that don't even matter. Well, the truth is, we can't get black people to focus on the bigger issues because we got people who want to come in and just gossip and distract everybody and take people away from the important information that we should be learning and understanding how this mighty machine that they call racism works against us and how to combat it. We can't get serious about that and stay focused about that. We want to get into gossip contests and start arguing with each other, basically effectively turning on each other over things that don't even matter. Who gives a damn about Zoe trying to figure out who the hell she is? That's her issue. We got to cut it out, man. We got to stop. We got to stay focused. We got to stay focused, man. We got to cut it out. The actress that I mentioned on the FBI report, the one that plays, I think, Gamora, or whatever, on Guardians of the Galaxy. She identifies as black, even though her father is Dominican and her mother is Puerto Rican. Well, this is what I was trying to tell you on how they use faulty data against us in the crime statistics because Hispanic and Latino isn't a race. So the other category that they go under is black or African American. They get lumped in with us, which causes the crime numbers to go up, which gives inaccurate data about us, real African Americans, committing crimes. But we're not interested in that. We're interested in the fact that she thinks she's black or not. And we're arguing about that amongst each other and with each other and about to get into a fight about it. How many of you knew that Latino and Hispanic isn't a race? And that when they get classified for doing crimes, they either go under white or black. And so when they say black people are 30% of the population committing all the crimes, they're including Hispanics. So if they're including Hispanics, then that means that there's less black people committing crimes. Exactly. That's where this faulty data is coming from. Black people don't commit crime. Black people are some of the most non-violent people. Black people don't commit. That's why I feel safe living around black people. Black people don't commit crimes like that. What they're showing you is sensationalized gang crime. And many gang members are repeat offenders. And the rappers come out of that gang culture. They come out of that pimp culture. They rap about this shit, they glorify this stuff. And you heard what the white man said. These companies play it on their radio stations, which is a part of media, mainstream media. The average black person who goes to work every day or goes to the store, buy himself some crackling or some skins, a pound of bacon, eating pork and shit, ain't committing these damn crimes. Exactly. We get these black and brown people from being classified with us. You will see that black people hardly commit crimes. And the people that are black that are committing crimes is somewhere less than 1%. But yet, that 1% of black people, right? When you go to the prison system, you will hardly see black people, regular black people locked up. Now you may get some a little bit who freaked out and lost his mind or shot somebody, whatever. But majority of the black people who are locked up are the black people who deal in the street and in gang violence. Regular, everyday black folks don't get locked up because they're not committing crimes. Now, I'm not saying that there's not one or two here and there that might steal some money from white folks and get locked up or something like that. But on the average, overall, most black people do not commit crimes. They're taking 1% of our population and they're sensationalizing it to the point that it looks like damn near our whole race is committing crimes. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm about to get off here, y'all, because I got a little disgusted. Um, hey, Albina. Um, thought about putting the link out, but I might be getting off here in a minute because now I'm a little. But anyway, listening to those jigaboos yesterday with all this white supremacist talking points, and now we've just blown up their talking points. They have no factual data. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm finishing up my lunch. They have no data. They have no real talking point. They have no real concrete evidence that black people commit all these crimes. We just took the rabbit out of the hat. We just blew the covers off the lies. We even had White Zaddy on here telling you himself. We heard from the horse's mouth that these crime statistics are faulty and that they are made up. The numbers are fudged, and that white people have outright created lies about black people committing crimes. You heard that from white man himself. Two white men. One told you that he's white and he's a criminal and he can't even get arrested. And then we also had the brother breaking down the FBI crime statistics, category by category, telling you exactly what they mean, telling you who's being classified as black and who's not. Latinos and Hispanics get lumped into the black or black American category or the white category because Hispanic and Latino isn't a race. So when they commit crimes, they get thrown in with us, which inflates our numbers. So it looks like we are committing crimes and we're not. Exactly, truth is. And the FBI crime report doesn't take that into account. That's a good point. Truth is said, a lot of black people get locked up on false charges. Absolutely. Excellent point. Now, check this out. If they get out on false charges, right, the FBI data isn't going to cover that. Remember, it has nothing to do with court findings. It's only arrests. So if someone gets arrested on false charges and then later gets acquitted of the false charges, the FBI crime data is still going to say that they've been arrested for committing an alleged crime. Okay? The number isn't going to go down. The number isn't going to correct itself. That number is going to stay the same. Well, yeah, well, the white man just told you that. Truth is, we just had a white man up here from TED Talks telling you that the system is rigged against black people and that white people have created these lies about black people because it's profitable. And you got jigaboos who are going right along with them. Jigaboos like Ramil, jigaboos like Popular Thought, jigaboos like the bums in the manosphere. They're going right along with the lie. Remember, I didn't say this. A white man just sat up here and told you this. White man, you heard it from the horse's mouth. So I would have started attracting people in here, you know, who really about the information. I'm gonna start getting a little bit sharper here. Start doing some more research and start bringing up some more stuff because I want to really get the information out to the people, some real information. There's a lot of things that is going on that you don't know about, but we can't learn anything and get better and find solutions if we have people coming in here who just want to carry casual conversations about BS. I don't like that because it distracts everybody in here away from the information. Some of this information that we give out may save your life one day. You ever thought about that? It may save the life of one of your children one day. I'm not up here BSing. I'm not up here because I want to be up here. I'm up here because I give a damn about my people. And I'm trying to do whatever I can to help. I don't profess to be the smartest person in the room. I don't profess to be the most articulate. I don't profess to be something that I'm not. I'm not a scholar. I'm just a regular black man, a regular black person like any of you. And I give a damn about my people. And I'm trying to do whatever I can to help. But we can't learn anything if we got people in here distracting us with conversations about bullshit, shit that don't concern us, and distracting us away from the real stuff that's going on, like one of our 7-year-old little princesses being shot up like a practice dummy. Not a practice dummy, like a dummy in a shooting gallery or something. 7-year-old girl shot 6 times by a derelict father who was too immature to have a daughter, too immature to have a child. A father doing childish things, childish, immature things that got his daughter killed. What is a father? A father is supposed to be a man of great responsibility. What is a father doing out pissing on somebody's grave while they're watching? Like the person's grave he's pissing on, who's watching them piss on their dead loved one's grave, isn't going to feel disrespected. Oh, it's over with now, Phoenix Gene. I took it down now, and I don't know if anybody was paying attention. I just hope y'all was paying attention to the white dude in the TED Talks. That was one I really wanted y'all to hear. The crime data from the FBI, I knew that was faulty from the get-go. So, you know, I hope y'all got something out of that. But the one I really wanted y'all to listen to was the white dude named White Mike, who was on TED Talks, spilling the beans and telling you exactly where all of this shit come from and what white people have done and what they're still doing, how they created lies about black people and are profiting off those lies. You got Jigaboo. He called Rick Ross a mammy two shoes. This is a white man telling you this. Basically, he called him a Sambo. This is a white man that knows what's going on, that knows what it is. Called Rick Ross a mammy two shoes. Got these jigaboos who done sold out, helping these white people continue these lies about black people because it's profitable. They don't care nothing about our children. They don't care anything that happens as a result of this to our people. And we got all of these gangbangers committing all of these crimes. And understand something: these gangbangers are repeat offenders, and the gang violence is what's sensationalized in the local media. These aren't regular black people committing these crimes. Black people aren't crazy. Black people don't go around committing crimes. The average black person minding his or her own business, probably tired from coming in from work, dragging themselves into the shower, dragging themselves out of the shower, trying to wolf down something to eat, maybe watch a sitcom before they go to sleep and get ready to go to work the next day. The average black person ain't even thinking about committing no damn crime. Most average black people are trying to get enough sleep to go to work the next day. Most of the black people I hang around are pissed off about wasting time because they work so much. To them, time is important. You mess around and waste their time, they're going to get upset because that's time that they could have been added to their sleep. And most black people ain't out here committing no damn crimes. They try to get enough sleep just to go to work the next day. That's after, hey man, what's going on, man? I'm tired. Oh yeah, man, I just put in the double. Got to get home and get some sleep. All right. You know, it's a shame how we'll start ganging up to hear gossip. And that that piece of shit over there, Popular Thought, so-called Tower of Power with them jigaboos over there. You know, talking about white people should white people are justified of being afraid of black people because black people commit all these damn crimes. And it ain't nothing but a damn lie. And a white man just sat up here and told you that they're lies. Yeah, truth is, you know, let's go back to the podcast. 'Cause I started out real early. I started out with something very interesting about this white boy who told the cops he was a criminal, and they still wouldn't even arrest him, even though he had illegal marijuana on him. They still wouldn't arrest him. And then when they finally did arrest him, they didn't take him to jail. They took him to a mental hospital. Think they'd do that for somebody black? Absolutely not. Well, they're just well, that's because truth is the problem with all of that is because we have black fathers and black men in the community who are weak and passive. See, back in the day, black fathers wouldn't allow this shit to take place in the community. Cops didn't come into our communities back in the day to do the things that you see now. Because there was communities, believe it or not, there was communities back in the day that cops were afraid to drive their cruisers in. And it wasn't because there was violence there. It was because the black men there wasn't passive and that they was going to retaliate to any kind of injustice from the police officers. That's why cops did not bother going through those neighborhoods because they didn't want to meet resistance. See, any place where they're going to meet stiff resistance, they don't bother with. They only go into the areas that you allow them to go in and they start killing people. Like, for example, the other racist cops are also watching what happened to Ma'Khia Bryant. You know why? Because that's another killing ground that they can go to and blow black people away because they see that the male presence in that community isn't going to do anything to protect the life in that community. It is a direct failure of the men in that community to protect that girl's life. Now I understand that some people are saying that the cop was justified and all of that. I'm not going with that because he could have closed the gap and disarmed that girl in 5 seconds. I could have disarmed that girl with one move. It's not hard to disarm a 16-year-old black girl with a knife in her hand with her back turned. That's easy money. Just grab the wrist of the hand with the knife in it. Pull the wrist back behind her back, which will actually turn the hand and open the hand, and she will drop the knife. It's a simple disarmament. Well, truth is, look, I don't get into all of this past stuff because I think the past is really hurting black people today. The fact that we're stuck in the past, we're not moving forward. How many times are we going to talk about Huey P. Newton? How many times are we going to talk about Marcus Garvey? How many times are we going to talk about Malcolm X and Dr. King? For another 100 years? While everything around us is being turned upside down? When do we have some new thinking? When do we start having people that's going to intervene with what's being done to us? When are we going to have black people with some new age thinking that's going to get in the way of the stuff that's causing us harm? I don't want to hear conversations about Marcus Garvey anymore. I want to hear conversations about what we're going to do to stop what's going on with what's happening to us. When are we going to have those conversations? I keep hearing conversation after conversation of black men talking about absolutely nothing. Nothing that's going to help black people in the grand scheme of things. Sitting up a podcast, having intellectual masturbation about the heroes of yesteryear doesn't do us any good today. We need new age thinking. Followed by action, aggressive action. Right, but it wasn't just the Black Panthers. That was the mentality. See, here's another thing. Let me put something out there, right? The Black Panthers became famous because they were organized. But the Black Panthers weren't the only black men who thought that way. Almost all the men in the black communities thought the same way that the Black Panthers thought. That's why there were no drugs in the community. That's why the black communities back then were very serene and quiet. Almost all of the black men thought that way. It wasn't just Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale and them. So you have to understand the way they tell stories about black people when they make these movies. They sensationalize small packs of violence. They sensationalize it. They blow it up. So you think that violence was everywhere. Like in the South, right? They show you movies like Mississippi Burning, Rosewood, and stuff like that, right? But if you ask black people who are still living, who lived back then, they would tell you that a lot of those movies are inaccurate, and that stuff only went on in a small part of the South, and that white people in the Ku Klux Klan didn't have the balls to do that right in other places in the South. I talked to some black folks who come out of that era and told me that there was towns that the Ku Klux Klan wouldn't step nowhere near in the South because they was afraid of the black people there. They told me that there was towns in the South that was unmolested by racism because the white people were afraid of the black people who lived there. Because the black people who lived there didn't play any games. They had guns, shotguns. They will bust a cap in your ass, whether you was a white cop or a Ku Klux Klan. They will beat the hell out of you. You heard of sundown towns? Well, there were towns that white people couldn't get caught in. But those stories aren't being told. You have to find the elders who are in their 80s and 90s who are still living that can tell you the truth about those towns. I know elders now who are pissed off about Mississippi Burning, that movie, because they said all that shit didn't go down like that. They said there was things that were left out. And a lot of these elders are pissed off about how they depict black people. But you said every black person back in those days wasn't a scared Negro. wasn't afraid of the KKK. But he said that's what they want you to think. So the Black Panthers, even though they had it going on, they wasn't the only black men who thought that way. They were the ones who got themselves organized in the group. But they wasn't the only black men who thought that way, and they wasn't the only black men that were fighting police brutality back then. There was a ton of black men, hundreds of black men, fathers, fighting police brutality back then. They didn't get caught on camera. Their stories was never told because they were not organized like the Black Panthers. They didn't make an organized group. They were just fathers protecting their neighborhood. That's all they were. If you go back to those days, right, that stuff happened basically in the downtown areas of black towns. They didn't go through like the residential areas. Those residential areas were quiet. A lot of black neighborhoods when I was growing up were very serene and quiet. There was no crime going on in the neighborhood. There was nobody selling drugs because the fathers didn't play that shit. So the Black Panthers got noted. They got the notoriety, but they weren't the only ones. There were hundreds of black men back then who thought that way and who took it to the police to protect the people in their neighborhood. Yeah. There were neighborhoods that the Ku Klux Klan stayed clear of because the black people were armed to the teeth in those neighborhoods. My aunt, God rest her soul, lived to be 80-some years old. She told me stories, because she's from North Carolina. She told me stories where some of the black fathers would be on patrol with shotguns. On patrol. And let them catch a white person in that town at night. Some people even say they got the idea of sundown towns from blacks. Some will tell you that blacks were the first ones that when the sun went down, you couldn't come in that town if nobody knew you. So you got to talk to some of these old 90-year-old. That's why I love talking to elders. People who went through it, they'll tell you the real deal. These old, if you see an elder who's 80, somewhere around 79, 80 years old, especially one from the South, talk to him or her about what really went down. I guarantee you'll get a different story. Every black person wasn't scared, but a lot of black folks didn't play no games back then. Okay? You have to understand something. When they show you these movies, that's only in one part of a town. That's not rampant all throughout the South. That wasn't going on in the whole state of Mississippi. A lot of black folks down there didn't play that shit. A lot of black folks down there wasn't afraid of the Klan. The Klan was afraid of a lot of black folks. So yeah, the Black Panthers, they got the notoriety, but trust me, they weren't the only black men who had that kind of mentality. There was plenty of black men back then with that mentality. They were just being regular fathers and protecting their neighborhood. They just didn't get organized and call themselves a name. Huey P. Newton and them decided to call themselves a name and get themselves together. But if you go back there, look, for example, even in that movie, the Black Panthers, right? They showed you the mentality of the black people, even in that town. It wasn't just the Black Panthers that were fighting the police. Regular black folks was out there fighting the police too. If you pay attention to that movie, it shows you other black people in the surrounding town was also fighting the police. It wasn't just the Black Panthers out there. Because that was the mentality of the black people back then. They fought back. See, there's a lot of untold history that you don't know about that's been covered up that they don't want you to know because they're afraid that it may inspire you. See, you find out that your peoples all wasn't punks and that you come from a lineage of warriors, that might change your mentality. You find out that your great-great-grandfather was on some shit where he peeling caps of the KKK, that might shake your psyche up a little bit. See, they don't want you to know stuff like that because they don't want to take a chance of it influencing you. Because you think about it, right? All we've been told is the worst possible thing about our history, right? And we always being depicted as weak, crying, sniveling Negroes, right? Imagine if you went back in time, back in the 60s and the 50s and 40s and found out that, hey, wait a minute. What they're talking about, my people was whooping ass. All of a sudden, you might start feeling proud. You understand what I'm saying? This is another reason why they keep your history away from you. They don't want you to get inspired. They just want you to listen to the shit that they tell you. His story. They want you to hear the story told with their narrative. They don't want you to know about the real deal about your great-grandfathers who was out there busting heads, because that might inspire you. Imagine truth is you find out that you come from a lineage of black people who historically kicked the hell out of the Ku Klux Klan, all the way down to your great-great-great-grandfathers. They out there whooping the Klan's ass. That's something that's something you're gonna feel proud about. You're gonna feel proud about that. You're gonna be like, shit, my family, man, they wouldn't know punk ass slave. My family was out there cracking heads. They don't want you to know that. See, they want you to know about guys like Nat Turner. You know why? Because they caught Nat Turner. So let me tell you how they work, right? They're always playing psychological games on you, because that's one of the greatest weapons that they use against us, psychology. They're always playing tricks on your mind. See, they want you to know about Nat Turner because they caught Nat Turner and they killed Nat Turner and they did all kinds of inhumane things to Nat Turner. That's why they want you to know about Nat Turner. They want you to know, yeah, man, he smoked white people, but let me tell you what we did to him. We turned his skin into shoe polish and we cooked him and ate him. See, all of that is to play on your psyche. So that it prevents another Nat Turner from rising up from the ashes, right? Rising up from the ranks, right? That's why they show you guys like Nat Turner. See, they show you a lot of great black leaders, right? Who they killed. See, they don't want to show you the black people that they were afraid of. and that they didn't kill, and who they don't mess with today. They don't want to show you those black people. See, if you notice, every time something goes down, when black people start getting violent, black people start waking up, right? The first thing they want to do is go, well, why don't you be more like Dr. King? Why? Because Dr. King was nonviolent. Dr. King was about getting his ass whooped by white folks. Now I want you to think about something. I got a lot of respect for King, right? But to me, walking your ass down the street and getting your ass whooped, listen, they were getting their asses whooped. They were getting beat like a drum. I'm telling you right now, I don't know if I could have handled that. I guess I was born in the right time. I'm not marching down the street getting my ass whooped. It's not happening. And we got to stop rallying around black people who sit up there and tell you that they was out in the back then getting their asses kicked. That you should respect them for getting their asses whooped. Them getting their asses whooped didn't benefit you. You're not here today and where you are today because niggas took willful ass whoopings. Think about that for a second. Look at the logic behind that, right? You want to glorify somebody who did nothing but get his ass whooped. How does that help us? Now I don't. Now I'm not a scholar. I don't play one on TV, but I have some education. I have some college and stuff on me. Just a regular old man. Y'all explain this to me. What do we get out of our so-called black leaders of yesteryear who are alive today with parts of their body missing or parts of their body not working because they thing was to get their ass whooped by Whitey? Like, well, Uncle Joe, how come your right arm don't work no more? Oh, because they kicked it out of the socket one too many times. The Klan did it. But why didn't you fight back? Well, we was about nonviolence. We needed to get our ass whooped so you can be where you are today. That's bullshit. Ain't no Negro take no willful ass whooping so you can be where you are today. That's bullshit. And you shouldn't respect that. See, shit like that make you weak. And it makes you passive. And it got you glorifying people you shouldn't be glorifying. The hell what the hell you talking about? You got your ass whooped. Fuck, we sitting up here talking about something. Hey man, I'm proud of the black people who marched and got their ass whooped. Got your ass whooped. And then listen, we keep talking about shit where we effed up, right? We keep glorifying the things that we failed at. Number one, Black Wall Street. Why do we keep talking about Black Wall Street? And why haven't we built another Black Wall Street? Because we are afraid. Why? Because the people who built Black Wall Street got their ass whooped. And got it whooped so bad that you niggas today are afraid to build another Black Wall Street. So that's what getting your ass whooped does for your mentality today. Well, how come we haven't built another Black Wall Street? Now, you ask that question to all of these intellectually bloated pseudo scholars on YouTube, and you're going to get all of this fancy rhetoric, all of this super intellectual 30 syllable $25 words, right? Because they're going to flex on you. They're going to show you how they failed in the real world of academics, and they're going to force it on you here on social media. You're going to hear all of these things, but no one's going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, because I believe in simplicity, because simplicity is the key to life. Balance, right? Balance is simple. It's a simple concept, right? So they're never going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. They're going to tell you all of this complicated shit that at the end of the day, it's going to come right back to what I'm about to tell you right now. Reason why Black people haven't built another Black Wall Street is because the Black people who built it got their asses whooped. That's it. And Negroes are afraid to build another one because they don't want to get their asses whooped. Exactly, Phoenix Chair. Gene, pure, unadulterated fear. See, that's what taking an ass whooping does to the psyche of your offspring. If you young and you see your father and mother getting tore out the frame, that traumatizes you as a young person. And then you get up earlier, you find out, hey, what did mommy and daddy get their ass whooped like that for? Oh, because they were trying to sell newspapers. And you looking at the newspaper boy job, fuck that job. I ain't selling no newspapers. I'm gonna get my ass whooped. Think about it for a second. You thinking about being a paper boy for your first job. You know, you done grew up some 14, 15 years old now. You want to make a little bit of money. So you want to be, so you know, paper boy jobs are easy to come by. Paper boy, paper girl. You know, make your little $5, $6, whatever, $10 a week, $30 a week, whatever. You know, ice cream, candy, cake money. But you remember when you were younger, your mommy and daddy viciously getting their ass whooped by some white folks. Right? So now you 14, 15 years old, and you ask mommy and daddy, hey, you know, what happened back then? I remember y'all were fighting these white people. What is it? Oh, yeah, son. They jumped on us because we were trying to sell newspapers. Now you go see a newspaper boy job, you fucked up. You don't want no part of that. Because you saw your mother and father viciously get their ass whooped, and you found out later that they got their ass whooped for selling newspapers. See, I'm going to give it to you the way you can handle it, because I'm just like you. I ain't no different than any one of y'all. I'm 54. I'm your uncle at the cookout. I'm sitting at the cookout getting me a plate, eating some ribs. I don't fuck with peach cobbler. I might do tater salad depending on who's making it, because all the black folks fucking tater salad up now. Back in the day, black folks used to kill some tater salad. They fucking it up. Now, a lot of niggas can't cook no more, y'all. Have y'all been to these cookouts before the pandemic? Man, these cookouts are fucked up. I've been to a couple of cookouts for the pandemic. What the hell's going on here? Chicken was black on the grill. I went to one cookout of my boys. We in the back listening to some music. The chicken was black on the grill. So I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, man, you smoked that chicken a little bit too much, huh? So, nah, man, it ain't smoked. What you talking about, man? That shit is burnt. They got a pile of burnt chicken on the grill. These are black folk. Negro got a pile of burnt chicken on the grill. And somebody made a big old pan of macaroni and cheese that looked like white noodles. It was a whole bunch of white noodles and 2 clumps of government American cheese in the middle. And it wasn't even melted. If you wanted the cheese melted, you had to get a big spoon of the white noodles and take a couple of pieces of the American cheese off, sprinkle it on there, put in some aluminum foil, and put it on the grill. I'm saying, what the hell wrong with these people? Kool-Aid was too sweet. Kool-Aid was so sweet, you drink a cup, you swear you got diabetes. The corner of the car was burnt. The potato salad was beige. Peach cobbler was overcooked. Scribbled up collard greens. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Cookouts ain't the same. The black folk can't cook no more, y'all. A lot of these cookouts are effed up. I've been to 4 of them right before the pandemic. 4 people I know, I went by, they told me come on by. Came by, man, look. That last one, I said something to a couple. I said, look, man, no disrespect, but why'd you burn all that chicken, bro? Then he was going to say, well, nah, man, I was trying to, what happened was, I was talking to my girl, and I ain't realized I had the chicken on the grill. Then I was drinking, I got, I'm talking to Noonie and them, man, we all arguing over the spade game. Before I know it, man, somebody said the chicken was burnt. I got over there, it was already burnt. So I just left it on the grill. So, so I'm just like y'all, man. I'm just a regular old black folk. I care about my people, though. I care about all y'all. That's why I'm doing this. Doing my best to help. And my thing is, man, I love my black people, man. I know all our faults. I mean, nobody does it like us, man. Ain't nobody like us. I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, sometimes we be bullshitting niggas fucking up potato salad and shit. Somebody stole a rib off your plate and all that. I mean, hey, we black folk. That's just what it is, man. Another thing I like too, I love sitting on the porch or sitting on the goddamn curb. We don't bought a damn table. Tell me, black folk ain't on it like this. Motherfuckers done, we done took a table from the back. We having a cookout. We done took a goddamn table and done put it on the sidewalk in front of the house. And I got some chairs. We sit on the goddamn sidewalk playing spades all night. Drinking beer, talking shit, playing spades. Right there on the sidewalk with the chair and table while people are walking by. We out there playing spades all fucking night, drinking and carrying on. That's my motherfucking peoples, right? Them black folk for you right there. Sometimes we sit on the goddamn corner and play spades. That's my black folk. I love my black folk, man. Motherfuckers got to do a better job with the macaroni and cheese, though. They're fucking up. Oh yeah, okay. Well, pork chops are still good, you know. They and what's going on with the South, man? The South's starting to trip out. The South started to fall up. Florida, and Mississippi and Louisiana is still holding down the South. Georgia done fell off, y'all. Georgia, I don't know what's going on with you, Georgia. You Georgia peaches. I don't know what the hell's going on in Georgia. Georgia done fell off. South Carolina is tripping. North Carolina, the only thing they can cook down there is breakfast. The only thing that's holding the South right now is Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi. They can still burn in them 3 states. Especially Louisiana. Louisiana ain't no joke. Well, when I go to Louisiana, I make sure I don't eat nothing until I get there. I go to Louisiana, I'm already I'm starved when I get there because I'm going to eat and I'm going to gain 2 pounds before I get out of there. That gumbo, I'm a gumbo fanatic. I am a gumbo fanatic. I'm gumbo down, yo. I'm down for the gumbo. I can't get out. I'll tell you, I go to Louisiana, especially I stop in Hammond. It's on, bro. It is on. I don't leave Louisiana until I done gain 2 pounds. Then I go on a fast. As soon as I leave Louisiana, I start fasting because I know I done gained 2 pounds fucking around with Louisiana. Mississippi's good. Food is off the hook. Florida, good food. Man, I was shocked at how good the food was in Florida. But then I remember, I'm like, okay, it's a southern state. I don't know why I kept thinking Florida was like New York. Could be because of Miami and Tampa or something. I keep thinking, but no, it's a southern state. Yeah. Well, North Carolina's still doing it. I don't like that goddamn stinky ass vinegar they put on the meat, though. They can leave that shit out of there. Yeah, I fucks with that gumbo, man. I fucks with the gumbo. But nah, y'all, I'm just regular old black folk, man. I try to claim to be something I'm not. Yeah, I mess with apple cider vinegar. But you know, we got to get together, man. We got to help each other. We got to start working together, man. Like I said, I come from that time, man, where the quality of black people was extremely high. We got to get back to that. We got to start raising the quality of ourselves. We got to start caring about each other. We all we got. We ain't got no friends. I hope y'all don't think we got friends out here. Nobody give a F about us. We ain't got no friends. Matter of fact, you go out here in the world and ask somebody, hey, I'm black, you want to be my friend? They look at you like you goddamn crazy. Oh yeah, the gumbo. Yeah, man, black folk, man, I used to love it, man. Growing up, we had house parties. See, I come from a time where I can make y'all jealous. See, y'all can't do in y'all time what I was able to do back in my day. I used to be able to get up and walk down the street and go to anybody's house I want to and sleep, eat, party, anybody's house on the block. Y'all can't do that today. I used to be able to walk in people's houses like I lived there. Go sit down in the living room, get something to eat. Y'all can't do that today. Exactly. I'm from Jersey, Phoenix Gene. I'm from Jersey City. I live in Virginia now, but I'm from Jersey City. I grew up in Jersey City. Shit, we had block parties, house parties, school parties. I grew up in a time where the grade schools and the high schools gave free parties on the weekend. No, yeah, man. Hey, man, y'all finally did something to that theater down there. I see. Y'all got that hockey team over there too. And y'all got the NJ Pack over there, man. NJ Pack is off the hook. I remember when they first built NJ Pack. Yeah, y'all ever get to New Jersey and go to North, go to NJ Pack. I mean, one time y'all had a California car show out that motherfucker. That shit was crazy. Yeah, NJ Pack was. I remember when they first built it. I remember when they was building it. Hey, they still clean up downtown Newark down there by Broadway and Market Street. Because I know I got that big center down there. I think that's the New Jersey Devils over there now. Y'all got the New Jersey Devils over there? And y'all got that big Prudential still got that big ass building down there. What's the name still fucked up though? Over in the Ironbound section, the street where the pilot is on, the one where you go down, you come over the bridge. Um, when you're coming from Jersey and you coming over the bridge, what's the name of that street again? For damn. No, it ain't by the Pulaski Skyway. That's on the other side. I forgot the name of that. Some street, whatever. Yeah, but that's still fucked up down there. They ain't did shit now. That's still fucked up. But you know what? Phoenix James. How's Penn Station? I ain't been to Penn Station in a minute. Did they renovate down there? It still look the same or what? I ain't seen Penn Station in a while. Still Penn Station. They still got that construction up there. Or they finally took it down. Did they do any renovations over there? I remember that motherfucker big. It looked like goddamn fucking Al Capone be going through that motherfucker. You go inside, it look like some shit over the movie The Untouchables. Remember The Untouchables? There's in that big ass fucking hotel. Penn Station kind of look like Al Capone in that motherfucker. Oh, okay. So they're gonna leave it like that? Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna see Al Capone that motherfucker. What day I went through there? Yep, Penn Station. Yeah, you know what? Y'all got, you know what? I think it's on Market Street or no, Broad Street. Y'all got this little chicken place down there, man. That chicken good too. It's on the same side where they used to have that big and tall shop. I think it's on Market Street though. I think it's past the post office on that side. Where y'all got that big ass post office downtown. I think it's right past there. It's a chicken spot. Man, that chicken is good. I think Arabs own that spot, but that chicken is the man. That chicken was off. Man, we used to go in there and man, we used to kill that chicken. Because you know that's where everybody's girlfriend was. You lived in Jersey City, but your girlfriend lived in Newark. It's been a long time, man. I grew up down there. I remember all my girlfriends were in Newark. I stayed in Newark, man. It was easy to talk to the sisters in Newark. Jersey City girls are stuck up. They don't want to be bothered. You got to have a resume to talk to them. It was easy to talk to the girls in Newark, so mostly everybody had a girlfriend in Newark. And we used to get into fights, man, because at one time Jersey City and Newark was beefing. Yeah, man. We all had girlfriends over there, man. Back in the day, that's when Newark was where it was at, man. That's where it was at, man. It was easy to talk to. You can pick your girlfriend up off the street at Newark. You can walk as soon as you get off the damn train, just walk down the street. Hey, baby, how you doing? Next thing you know, shit, you was over her house. Somewhere on South Orange Avenue and shit. Hey, do they still got the colonnades up down there? The colonnades still standing down there, or did they tear down the colonnades? I know they tore down y'all projects and shit. I know they've been tore down y'all projects. I don't think y'all got any more projects standing over there anymore. But I think the colonnades is still up. I don't know, they may have tore it down. The last time I seen the colonnades, it looked like they was about to tear that motherfucker down. Y'all used to be in the middle of everything, man. Y'all used to be in the middle of y'all was right next to when you get into Newark, what you can easily go over and I forgot the little surrounding towns. Man, it's been a while since I forgot the little surrounding towns. Um um I know we go down South Orange Avenue. Oh, you had Hillside. That's what it was. Hillside. We used to go to the Hillside a lot too. Now we used to go over to the Hillside. I think South Orange, man, shit, they got motherfucking um that block down there that's barricaded and shit, man. Fucking I forgot what it's called. They used to have a fucking police barricade up that motherfucker. Amherst. Yeah, we still got Amherst blocked off down there in South Orange. Motherfuckers had a police barricade up there for years. Yeah, y'all go to Newark, you go to South Orange. Ooh, boy, Amherst, boy, they were live over there. They had a 24-hour police barricade on that block. Yeah, Hillside. I had a girlfriend in Hillside back in the day. Lived on Hiawatha Avenue. Right across Chancellor, right down there where Redman and them used to be hanging out at. The Chinese restaurant down there on Chancellor. Go right across Chancellor, go right down Hiawatha, right in the Hillside. Yeah. Back then, man, we was taking buses like 12 buses to get to your girl house, right? We was a bus traveling. We used to go there with bus fare. You had to take like 5 buses to get where you needed to go. Just to get to your girl, you go to the hillside, it take like 5 buses, yo. The 39, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You had to take like 5 buses to get over there. Yeah, man, Newark was what it was, bro. But they ended up downtown though. Um, they tried to move. Well, I don't know if they was able to gentrify downtown. I know that they was trying to move white folks down there. Yeah, Twin City. Yep. Hey, you know Psychopedias? Phoenix Jean, he from Newark too. Him and Renee, they from Newark. They live over there by Weekway Park though. They're over there by the Weekway Park. They in the they Psychopedias and Renee. They're over there in Newark. They're over there by Weekway Park. Oh yeah, I grew up around H. That's where shit, man. We made our bones over there, man, because we was from Jersey City, and like I said, the girls in Jersey City was stuck. It was hard to get a girlfriend in Jersey City because the fathers was so strict. You know, I mean, it was easier to talk to the girls in Newark. So cats started going to Newark, man, getting girlfriends. We was pissed off the brothers from Newark, and we used to start, and then we started beef. We was having fights with them all the time. They was coming to Jersey, right, sticking up a whole bunch of niggas on the corner. You know, we had a lot of fights with them. Oh yeah, the 18th Street Projects, Street Riders, yeah. Yeah. Jersey City and Newark was beating hard at one point because the brothers from Newark didn't want Jersey niggas coming in there messing with their girls. Yeah. Got beat up over Newark like 5 times and shit. And still kept coming back. Over there getting my ass whooped and still kept coming back. I got jumped like 3, 4 times coming from my girl house. Then went back the next day, got jumped again. No, that's just the way it was. At one point or another, everybody who went back and forth over there had was either supporting a black eye or a busted nose or swollen lip. We was always banging over there. Sometimes you had to fight your way out of it just to get back home. Probably. Yeah, Newark, man. Those were the days, bro. But like I said, man, y'all didn't have it the way we had it. Y'all couldn't do today what we did back then. You know, even when we fought, it was nothing like what the way y'all fight today. We just didn't kill each other like that. You know, we was more into the hand-to-hand combat. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about killing each other. It was about making a name for yourself and getting a reputation by being the toughest person on the street with your hands. So we did a lot of fighting. We didn't do a lot of killing. With a lot of killing going on, it was rare that somebody would just, you know, show up and just blow somebody away. We wasn't even on it like that. We had a different mentality back then. Exactly. You know, these guys are pussies, man. We shot families back in the day. Yeah, no gun. Nobody wouldn't have. We didn't have no burners, man. The most you had on you, if you was outnumbered, was a knife, and you pulled it out just to try to scare people away from you so you can run. You didn't even try to stab nobody. You just tried to use it to scare people off because you didn't want to get jumped. And you just pull it out and just wave it. People run, and then you run too. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Shabazz High School, man. I heard Shabazz effed up now. Phoenix Jane. That's one of the most famous schools in Newark, Shabazz High School. I heard they screwed that school up, man. I heard it's messed up now. That was the most famous school in Newark, Shabazz High School. If you went to Shabazz High School in Newark, you was somebody. Yeah, what's Shabazz High School like now? Is it even still standing? Phoenix? I remember when they came out with the party lines back then. And everybody was on the, you know, the party lines? The party lines are, you know what they are now? The party lines are like Discord and little programs like Discord. That's what the party lines are now. They're off the phone and now they're on little back chat programs. But you can do the same thing on the party lines that you do in Discord. Yeah, party lines, man. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get on out of here. Got some stuff I gotta do. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Probably see y'all what? Today is what? What's the day? Wednesday or Thursday? Day Thursday? Probably holler at y'all tomorrow. All right. Like, subscribe, and share, y'all. Holler at y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Check y'all out tomorrow.